Hello, my name's Dave Kenworthy, and I'm talking about the work of Professor Alexander Thom. This is the third presentation, and what we're going to look at is what is a cursus? The first time I went down to the Stonehenge site, I looked around the exhibition inside, and then when I went outside and looked at the board that analysed the whole site, I saw this enormous monument that I didn't know about at all, and I thought, what on earth is that? And I got hold of one of the guides and got him to explain to me what he thought it might be. And one of the things he said was that it could have been an ancient racetrack. I thought that was a really good explanation, because if you look at how it's set up, you go downhill till you hit these two lines here, and then that's all uphill. What a finish for a race where everybody here can watch what's going on. And this start, the horses get up to full speed there, and then they're off. And it's 1 3/4 miles. It's a perfect racetrack. And that could have been one of its functions, but it's millions and millions of man hours have been spent building this. And I was more interested in it than Stonehenge. I went down to see Stonehenge. And then I said to the guy, well, where is it? Because we were outside the exhibition centre. And he explained to me I just had to walk across here and then down to there. And what happened was I ended up walking down here all the way across the Cursus. And then I ended up walking here to Woodhenge. And there's a cuckoo stone there that was is very famous as well. So before I actually got to Stonehenge, I'd spent hours walking down here and walking back to the exhibition centre where I got the bus down to see Stonehenge. And then when I was at Stonehenge, I had a good look round, and then I went and stood on one of the barrows behind Stonehenge to the north of Stonehenge. And I was looking at this thing and thinking, it's just incredible that this is here. And this guy came up to me. And he walked up the side of the barrow and he smiled and he said, what are you looking at? I said, I'm looking at this Cursus thing that I've just found out about. He said, one of my friends is really interested in this stuff, and he reckons that Silbury Hill at Avebury is the moon. And I just said, oh, right. And then he said, anyway, have a good day. And he just walked off. And I've never forgotten that. I thought it was an incredible thing for him to come up and say. So I put that to one side, and I thought, well, I better get on with the trip and take in as much as I can. But I couldn't get over this Cursus, and when I got home, I did a search on the internet, and I came up with a paper by two professors. I think they might have been Czechoslovakian professors, and they explain what the Cursus is. And it's lined up in such a way that the rims catch the moon when an eclipse is about to happen. And what they said was that Stonehenge is a repository of scientific information, and Woodhenge is a repository. And Woodhenge is a vantage point to watch the moon, and this point here is a vantage point. And the whole thing, this is by proper professors, the whole thing is an eclipse prediction device. And I was very taken by that. And then I did a lot of research to get some more information. And if we look at it, what it is, a Cursus, what it does is it's a tracking device. And you're tracking from points, one here and one here, and you're tracking the movements of the sun and the moon. Now, we know for sure at Stonehenge, this line here, which goes through the Cursus, is the midsummer sunrise track. And the avenue from Stonehenge goes directly along it. And this line here, through the lesser Cursus here, it's the line of the midsummer sunset. So what's being tracked here is the midsummer sunrise. The sun comes all the way around here in the sky, and it sets here. So you can see what's being tracked. It's the sunrise and sunset on midsummer's day. Now that, to me, was very interesting, and completely aligned with the work of Thom. But there was no real evidence when I walked along the Cursus of any post holes. But they've been found by Professor Vince Gaffney. And there's no doubt now that that's what this Cursus is. It's a tracking device, tracking the movement of the sun and the moon. Now, when I read Gaffney's paper, What Lies Beneath Stonehenge, it was just stunning. It was exactly what I was expecting. But what I wasn't expecting was when it was actually translated into the news, this bit about the Cursus had disappeared, and all the talk was about Stonehenge bluestones. And for the life of me, I've never been able to figure out why that happened. But anyway, this is the archaeology of the site: Woodhenge, the Lesser Cursus, the Greater Cursus, Stonehenge, repository of information, tracking device. This is Durrington Walls, and this line here is the Wilkinson-Thom line, and that line is 81,600 feet long from the centre of Woodhenge to the centre of the sanctuary at Avebury. And that is the Wilkinson-Thom line, and you can find Bill's videos on YouTube. Now, what I'm going to do is rotate this if I can, because we'll suddenly find ourselves at Avebury. So if I press that, I think, it's going the opposite way to what I expected. So let's go like that. We can see slowly it's disappearing. So let's move it up there a bit, and it's that one. And we're suddenly moving round now by 90 degrees, which is what I want us to do. Because this Cursus was facing north, and we want it to face the rising sun in the east. So we gradually move round, remembering that these are the eclipse lines from the first video. So let's go around a bit more. And a bit more. I know it's slow, but I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. A little bit more. And that is it. Now then. What we've got here is the Cursus is now facing east, tracking the rising sun. There's this angle here is the midsummer sunrise, and this angle here is the midsummer sunset at Avebury, but we're at Stonehenge at the moment. But I just want to show you this arrangement, because when we get you to Avebury, you'll understand what I mean. Here is the Cursus now, running north-south. Here is Woodhenge, and when we get to Avebury, all this will change. That will be Avebury, that will be the Avebury Cursus, and that will be the sanctuary. So if we just type in Avebury now, you'll be able to see the Cursus as soon as I show you. You'll be able to see it. It stands out like a sore thumb once you understand the landscape archaeology. So here we go. So we've gone back, facing the right way. And now I can zoom in slowly. And we can start to see the Cursus. It stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? There it is. Look. And we know now. There is the sanctuary that I've told you about, which is the equivalent of Woodhenge. And tilting the Stonehenge landscape, we can see that it's an exact replica of Avebury. There's Stonehenge, there's the Stonehenge Cursus, and there's Woodhenge. But now we actually are facing east with this Cursus, and we can move in a little bit more. And there's no doubt about this. Look at it the way, and this line here is the Ridgeway, and it's a sacred path. And when you look at the elevation, that is the horizontal line. And what's happening is exactly the same as what's happening at Stonehenge. And Vince Gaffney's got it absolutely right. And he's a landscape archaeologist, and he's making some fabulous discoveries. He's also made a great discovery about who the people were that built these sites, and that they came from the Middle East. We know for sure that they moved into the UK using DNA archaeology. We know they moved into the UK around 6000 BCE, and they left around 2500 BCE. And all this wonderful landscape archaeology finished when they left. And we don't know why they packed up and left so quickly and handed things over to the Beaker people. And it seemed to be a very peaceful takeover by the Beakers, but they just left. And that's the mystery now. So what we're looking at is exactly what Professor Thom told us. This is a Cursus at Avebury, there's a Cursus at Stonehenge, and these cursi are all over the UK in different sites. So I just want you to take that in, because it's the end of the presentation. But this leads on to the Wilkinson Thom line, which starts here, and that'll be the next video.